While there have been some great duos in the NBA, these are 10 duos that almost happened. In 1999, a deal was brewing between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. Toronto would trade Tracy McGrady and a first-round pick to Philly in exchange for Larry Hughes. The 76er GM at the time, Billy King, claimed that Stephen A. Smith leaked that the trade was a serious possibility, and the Raptors got cold feet. While Iverson and Tracy never won championships in their careers, if they had teamed up, would they have rings? After making the NBA Finals and winning 6th Man of the Year in 2012, James Harden was hoping for a larger contract from OKC, but the Thunder didn't want to go into the luxury tax. Before he was traded to Houston, talks between OKC and Golden State involved Klay Thompson. The trade was declined by Golden State, and their opportunity of forming James Harden and Steph Curry was gone. Not to mention the trio of KD, Russ, and Klay. Which team do you think would have made more noise? One team Golden State knows well is the Cavaliers, and their point guard Kyrie Irving almost teamed up with Giannis in 2017. When Kyrie had requested a trade out of Cleveland, plenty of teams gave offers. One of those teams was the Milwaukee Bucks. They proposed that the Cavs would receive Chris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, and a first-round pick for Kyrie. Instead, Cleveland would accept Boston's offer of Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and a 2018 first-round pick that ended up being Colin Sexton. While the Bucks won a championship in 2021, how much more success would they have if Cleveland had accepted their offer? Another organization that made an attempt to trade with the Cavs was the Indiana Pacers. During that same summer, Indiana was trying to move Paul George, and a 3-team deal was almost finalized. Before Kyrie was traded, a deal was in the works to send Kevin Love to Denver, Paul George to Cleveland, with Gary Harris and additional pieces going to Indiana. This would have meant that the Cleveland Cavaliers would be led by Kyrie Irving, Paul George, and LeBron James. Apparently, Indiana's GM backed out of the deal and would instead trade PG to Oklahoma for Domantas Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. While Kyrie likely would have still been moved before the summer ended, how much of a fight would this trio have versus the KD-led Warriors? For some reason, 2007 was the year for almost duos. In the summer, Kevin Garnett had finally had enough with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He requested a trade, and management was listening to offers. There were 4 teams KG was interested in: the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors, and 2 teams I want to highlight. A trade that was getting finalized was something similar to this. Boston would get Sean Marion, Atlanta receives Amari Stoudemire, the T-Wolves would get the Celtics' 5th pick in the 2007 draft, while the Phoenix Suns would get the 2004 MVP. What caused this trade to fall through was that Marion had said he needed a max contract. If this trade did go through, imagine what an offense led by KG and Steve Nash would look like. The other possible team that KG could have gone to was the Los Angeles Lakers, where he would have teamed up with Kobe Bryant. The trade would have had Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, and additional pieces going to Minnesota. On an episode of All the Smoke, KG talked about how he might have gone to LA.
And I'm just being honest with everybody. I wanted to link with Kobe, because Kobe and I had like a...
How can you not?
Listen to me. Kobe and I had like a different connect.
As we all know, KG would eventually be traded to Boston as well as Ray Allen and would win a championship for the city. How many rings would this duo get? In 2007, the Lakers were in a tough situation. This was the time between Shaq and Powell, leading to missed playoffs, poor rosters, and first-round exits. At the time, Kobe requested a trade from the team. Plenty of teams made offers for Kobe, like the Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls, and the team I like to highlight, the Dallas Mavericks. According to Dallas Maverick owner Mark Cuban,
yeah, I thought it was done. I was going back and forth with Dr. Buss, and I forget who called who. I think he called me actually and said, look, we think we might be parting ways with Kobe. It would have been damn good.
Yeah.
You know, and Dirk was like, I would have traded me for Kobe. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to trade you, Dirk. That's the whole point, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
According to an article written by Mark Stein, the trade would have resulted in a package headlined by Jason Terry, Josh Howard, and future Dallas picks going to LA. Cuban would go on to say in the interview that he believes Kobe Bryant was talked out of the possibility of a trade by their GM at the time, Mitch Kupchak. Which duo would you rather see, Kobe and KG? Or Kobe and Dirk? A year after MJ left the NBA in 1993, a trade proposal was made that could have kept MJ retired. After losing in the first round as the first seed with the best record in the NBA, the Sonics were looking to shake up their roster. It was the draft night of 1994, and the Chicago Bulls were conversating with the Seattle Supersonics revolving a Scottie Pippen for Shawn Kemp trade. The trade would have brought Shawn Kemp and Ricky Pierce to the Windy City for Scottie Pippen, as well as a pick swap. When Seattle fans heard about the rumors, they were very against the trade. According to a Chicago Tribune article, Supersonics owner Barry Ackerley, who reportedly said he was hearing about season ticket cancellations, called off the deal over the objections of the basketball staff. The funny part about this trade was that since Seattle had traded Pippen for Olden Polynice on draft day, there were 2 chances Scottie Pippen could have played by the Seattle Supersonics. ESPN reporter J.A. Adonde asked MJ if he would have rejoined the Chicago Bulls if the trade had went through at the 2008 All-Star Game. He was quoted saying, "Probably not. I could have played with Shawn, but I wouldn't have been as comfortable as I was with Scottie." How many teams could have dealt with the perimeter defense of GP and Pippen? This next one may be the most popular duo that almost happened. In 2011, a 3-team deal revolving Chris Paul would have had him being teammates with Kobe Bryant. Chris Paul was open with the Hornets head office and made it clear he wouldn't re-sign with the franchise, and while he was in his final year, New Orleans decided it was time to move the point guard. He had 3 preferred locations: the New York Knicks, the Orlando Magic, and the LA Lakers. After getting swept in the second round by the Dallas Mavericks, the Lakers were trying to prolong their championship window. The trade would bring Pau Gasol to Houston, Luis Scola, Kevin Martin, Goran Dragic, and a first-round pick to New Orleans, and the 26-year-old point guard would go to LA. There's been a lot of confusion as to why the trade was vetoed, so this is how things happened. The New Orleans Hornets at the time had no owner of the franchise, meaning that the Hornets were owned by the NBA. Because of this, they had the ability to give the final say-so on trades, and the NBA decided to stop this trade as an owner, not as an association. This trade would have changed a lot. Kobe likely wouldn't have gotten his Achilles hurt. The possibility of a Kobe-LeBron finals would be much higher, and now they would still be able to bring in Dwight Howard as they did in real life. 6 days after the Lakers trade was publicized, Chris Paul would end up playing in the same arena as a Clipper. Is there a possibility we missed out on the greatest backcourt of all time? In 2010, LeBron left his hometown for South Beach. But if this trade happened, we may have never seen him team up with D-Wade and Chris Bosh. Heading into the 2010 trade deadline, Cleveland wanted to make a move that would convince LeBron to stay as a Cavalier. A trade was in progress that would bring Amari Stoudemire to the Cavs for Zydrunas Ilgauskas and JJ Hickson. What caused the Cavs to pull out of the trade was that Cleveland wanted to keep their second-year player Hickson just in case LeBron left. The funny part about it was that they would trade him next season for Omri Caspi and a second-round pick. Do you think LeBron and Amari would have brought a ring to Cleveland? Looking back at these possible trades, it's really interesting to see how things could have been. Recently, I looked back at my award predictions for this year that I made last summer. If you want to see how many I got accurate, click the video on your screen.